Okay, I've shown a lot of interfaces that require like command line tools or other things, and I recognize for most artists that's not really an ideal scenario for them. Most of you are probably using apps, Adobe apps, that sort of thing. So I do want to show one or two techniques that I've used in the past for Adobe stuff. Most of these are using scripts, either that I've found online or that I've asked Claude to help me make, that sort of thing. People might not even know there's a way to do a whole bunch of scripting stuff within Adobe. It's quite nice, but the syntax is complicated. I found like things like Claude and ChatGPT have actually made it way easier because you don't need to know exactly how all these tools work. So I'm just going to show you one, which is like using a random process in Adobe After Effects. I'm sure there's a way to do this in Premiere. I'm not a Premiere user, so I don't really know. But in After Effects, it's quite easy, and I'll share the script with you in the notes on YouTube. So first things first, we want to make a project. So we've got a new project here, and we want to make a comp from it. So I'm just going to drag in one image. I'll hit new comp from selection. That gives me this image, and then what I want to do is I want to drag in all of the other images in here into my comp. There we go. So you'll see here, let me make some space, is I now have 76 layers. Or actually, what? Only 60, maybe? Interesting. Where did all the other ones go? Oh, you know what? I don't grab all these. Okay, grab all these, drag them in. Cool, now we've got 76. Okay, so what we want to do is basically, like, I want to randomize these, right? When I drag them in, they dragged in a certain order. I would like to mix that all up and just sort of see what I get. So the way to do this is I have already saved a script file in a folder. I'll share that one with everyone. The key here is to declick. So basically, like when you have all this on, you'll make sure you unclick and don't have any of these selected. I found that that's like a weird trick that I was kind of confused about before. So I'm going to go to here. I'm going to go to File, Scripts, Run Script File. And then I'm going to navigate to where my file is. And there's this JavaScript file called Randomized Layers. So I'm going to select that. I'll hit Open. And I think what it did, I should have looked at this a little bit closer. I think it resorted all these. Let me run this again. You can run this as many times as you want. So let's say you don't like the output. So go to Scripts, Run Script File. And we're going to run this again. Yep, and it resorted all these. So now I have a bunch of randomizations here. The easiest way in After Effects to output this or to generate an individual sort of animation is, let's see, K. I'm using 24 frames per second, a duration of 1 minute, which will not be how long I need to do this for, but that's okay. We'll do this first. So let's go. So I'm going to select all my layers. I'm going to then hit on Stretch. And I'm going to set this to 2 frames. So we'll do 0.02. This is base 24, so this is 2 frames. Actually, let's do a 3 frames. Let's do an 8 frame per second video, essentially. And then I can set this to that. And you'll see that, unfortunately, After Effects has like a limit on how short you can make things. So I'll do this. Let's go in here and let's shrink this down a little bit more. So 3 frames. Cool. Next, we're going to select everything. And we're going to go to Keyframe Assistant, Sequence Layers, and Overlap of None. Again, unclick that to have no overlap, and hit OK. And you'll see here that what it has done is it generated a sequence for me, and that sequence is about 9.5 seconds. Cool. So what we can do then is I can just bring our little drawing guy in here. The other thing we can do is we can actually just change the length of this to 9.12. Cool. So now we have our whole sequence here. Depending on how good your CPU is or your GPU is, you might be able to render this. Let's try it. My CPU and GPU are generally crap. Yeah. So it's very random. Now we can render this out, we can generate a video from it, and we can use that. So that's pretty much the whole process. Again, there's probably ways to do this in Premiere and other tools, but I just want to show this to you for this. Ask me if you have questions about other Adobe tools.